Hello. So today I wanted to talk about two things: feeling exhausted after being unproductive and what you can do to get out of that rut, so to speak, and kind of put a reset to it. So what do I mean with feeling exhausted after being unproductive? So I don't know about you, but I do tend to get into like doom scrolling, for example. That's like my biggest thing. Or actually not even it's not even doom scrolling. It's just I think I have somewhat an addiction to my phone. Like I have this anxiety where I need to grab my phone constantly. And if it's not going into social media, honestly, sometimes it's even doing research. I go into either Google or ChatGPT or even YouTube and start consuming content or consuming information. Or I sometimes go to Amazon and try to think of, what do I need? What do I need? I feel like I need to buy something. I forgot. And I just start scrolling and like window shopping and not really buying stuff, but just like, adding things to my cart. And I don't buy it because honestly, it turns out I don't really need those things, but I just need to do that. And so doing that at the end of the day makes me, first of all, time flies. I am in my phone, probably hours can pass by and I don't even realize that I've been that long. And two, I just feel drained at the end of the day. And so I did some research and turns out that just using your phone is it just gives you a lot of hits of dopamine. So I think we all know that social media gives you those hits of dopamine, right? Like you get a notification, you can see it immediately. You get a like that makes you feel good. Or you get just so much engagement when you're doing like TikTok or the reels. You just see one thing and that's like exciting. Then you see something completely new and that's super exciting too. Like for your brain, I mean. And those little things create dopamine. And not only that, also just the fact of researching or watching things online, it's like a quest, right? Maybe I want to research, I don't know, like yesterday morning I was researching something about feelings whenever you're breast pumping, whenever you're pumping, and I researched that and I got the answer immediately, right? So that also gives you hits of dopamine because you are asking for something, you're in a quest for something, and boom, you get the result right away. You get your answer right away. And even if you're planning, because I've also fallen into that where I'm just like over planning things and putting the perfect strategy, or maybe collecting so many ideas for videos or content, or making a business plan for my marketing and just putting all together and making this plan. That also gives you hits of dopamine because you're just planning and imagining how great something's going to be, and you're getting all of these new ideas and you're searching for ideas and you're getting them. Does that make sense? So research, planning, and just Googling things or watching videos, that gives you hits of dopamine, and they're like instant, and they give you this instant reward, right? And so just how whenever we can have like a sugar crash, same happens with dopamine. You can get too much dopamine and it's kind of like cheap dopamine. And when you're doing that, it's too much, I guess, for your brain, that it kind of gets like saturated, and then you get like, it just deflates. I'm not a professional at these things, okay? So don't quote me on this, but it's something like that, okay? You get this like spikes of dopamine, but they're just so high, they're so quick that just like as easy as they came, it easy goes. Does that make sense? So it's not like a sustainable dopamine. And that's exhausting for your brain as well because it's just producing dopamine. And at the end of the day, you just feel depleted and your brain itself struggles to keep producing. So that's when you start feeling like empty or sad. And, exhausted, like I said, exhausted, and it can become this vicious cycle because like, dang, I'm sad, I feel empty, what can I do? Actually, what's the last thing that I did that made me feel somewhat good? Oh, it was using my phone, let me go back again. And it just becomes addictive, and this like vicious cycle that leaves you drained, exhausted, and further away from your goals, or from even living a balanced life that it's intentional, right? And that can also make you feel empty on top of what's going on your brain. So I think that what you can do to kind of reset that is first, you do need to try to fast from your phone if you're able to. I've done social media fasts, but I've realized that it's not just social media, like I shared. It can be beyond that. It's just the use of your phone and having things so easily accessible and giving you these instant rewards that gives you these hits of dopamine. So if you're able to just take a break, maybe even if it's for a couple of hours, put it away, put it out of sight. And not only that, you need to practice things that create, let's say, a more sustainable dopamine production. So what helps for me is honestly going outside, just taking some fresh air, being under the sunlight. That just makes you feel so much better. I'm not sure what is it. I think the rays of sun also produce something in you that just makes you feel good. I mean, in your body, that it's just nourishing and refreshing. And just going out, walking, just watching the trees, the leaves move. It does create dopamine, but it's just like slow. And the reason why it does create dopamine is because going on walks and practicing healthy habits are things that actually feel good in your body. Your body needs those things. So it even though you're not necessarily perceiving it, it is creating a reward in your body. So that reward produces this good dopamine. Something else that you could do is go out in community. It's not the same to interact with people on your phone than in person. So go visit a friend or go to church, or, get involved with people like in person, have a conversation, and just having these conversations and just being surrounded by people. That also produces, let's say, healthy dopamine, because it gives you a reward that is not necessarily instant. It's just something that it nourishes your soul. I know I'm not being very scientific, but it just nourishes your soul. We were created for community. So again, whenever we do things that we are, I guess, that our bodies are made for, right? Our bodies need to practice healthy habits. Our bodies are made for community. That's just ingrained in us. So when we do these things, that produces healthy, long-lasting rewards that are not immediate hits that get you into this vicious cycle. And the last thing is, if you're able to, go exercise, again, healthy habit, just moving around, going out for a jog. If it's not for a walk, I mean, one thing is going outside, which is why I go for walks. Another thing is just moving. So if you can go for a walk outside, then you've done two things. But you can walk on the treadmill as well, or you can move around, do a workout at home. Even it doesn't have to be outside. So that's like a separate thing that also boosts healthy production of dopamine, that is long lasting, and that is not something that will get you into this draining you after, if that makes sense. So anyways, what I personally like to do is going out for walks or for jogging. Listening to music has also been great and helpful for me, especially if it's worship music. It nourishes my soul. And with that said, whenever I'm feeling drained and exhausted that way from being unproductive, even though maybe I was doing research or whatever, I don't even listen to sermons, not during that time, just music. But I am not doing things that make my brain work too hard. Like, it's not a learning time for me in that moment, right? It's just a resting, replenishing, nourishing myself. So yeah, that is all for today. I'm running out of time. So let me know if you've ever felt drained and exhausted from having unproductive days, if you relate to any of this, and what do you do to feel better? And I hope these tips helped you as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.